Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm making another list here because it's near the end of 2020. I'm making it on the top 20 Gen 2 slash Gen 3 players of all time. Now, I've made one of these videos before in the past, and I think I made around 2 to 3. I deleted one of them. I think I only have one left on the channel. I have 2 left on the channel. One that I made a while back and one with over 1,000 views if you want to check that out. My opinions have changed from what I've seen from new players, so that just goes to show that a list is not a list, of course, is not facts. A list is just straight opinion. So whenever anybody makes a list, take it with a grain of salt, because you could think fucking Sancho's the greatest player of all time. Like, it's all personal opinion, but I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as I can be. I'm an AO6, and even I'm not gonna be incredibly biased towards my clan members or anybody that I don't like. I'm not gonna be too biased towards them, or unbiased rather. So I'm gonna start off this list at I have 20 players. This is the top 20, and it's not going to include, I think I should point this out, it's not going to include any Fame or X-Log members. There's going to be one exception here in the list, or one or two. If the Fame or X-Log member didn't participate too much in the Gen 1, which was Fame and X-Log, if they didn't participate too much in Gen 1 and were just mainly known for playing during LOE, like Gen 2, Gen 3, then we're going to put them on the list. But if they're mainly like Handyman613, if they're mainly like Toltex and Gamehead are perfect examples. If they didn't play during Gen 2 or Gen 3 and they're just great players in Gen 1, they're not going to be on this list, because the majority of us in this game, I mean, I know some players did play during that time, me included, but most people got into this community around LOE days, maybe a little later, so I don't think many players are going to find too many X-Lock or Fame members too relevant to part of the list here, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to start off the list here at number 20, and this number 20 is going to be a tie. And I'm just going to put it on. I'm not going to try to make this video too incredibly long, because my videos have been pretty long in the past when it comes to lists, of course. So I'm not going to try to spend too much time on each player here. I'm going to start off with number 20, and this is a tie. This is the only tie on this list, and it's between Johan and Dead Fuses. And if you guys don't know who Dead Fuses is, he was a player that started playing this game around, I think, late X-Luck days, beginning of C4 days. Around when NSK was doing their thing, doing 6v6s against X-Lock. I think he started playing around when Temper Tantrum did his video on X-Gun. And he never hit level 1000. I think he was around level 400. And you might be thinking, then why is he on the list if he didn't, do anything too significant? Well, he came into this game, and leaderboards aren't really too much of a show of ability, because you can just play a lot behind leaderboards. But Dead Fuses came in the game and not only got number 1 on all weekly leaderboards in terms of score per minute, score, all that. He got a lot of screenshots on players. He got a lot of screenshots on TFE, LOE, NSK. So if you had Dead Fuses on your team back in the day, chances are you weren't going to lose the game. And another thing Dead Fuses did was he was kind of like a starter of the Irma meta, because the current meta in the game, if you guys didn't know, most of you do, because most of you in this community that's watching this video, is the Irma EMP. It's the best gun in the game, and it's what people use whenever they see good players. It's that, the Beckwick, or probably a shotgun, So he was kind of the starter of that. I think he used either Escalation Ordnance Hunker, Escalation Hunker, I don't really know. But all I know is that he used an Irma, and he carried me one time against a 6-man of LOE. And I remember Dope messaged me. I have no hatred toward Dope at all. I'm actually real cool with Dope now. But Dope messaged me that we only ever won that game because, actually, I don't think we won because it was a 6-man, but maybe we did. I don't really recall. This was about 2 years ago. But he had messaged me and said you only won because of Dead Fuses. So I'm only putting him at number 20 here because Dead Fuses came into the community and started slapping shit around, and not many people know who he is, but I definitely do. I know a lot of people that were early in this game know who he is, so I definitely think Dead Fuses deserves a spot on this list. Johan's self-explanatory. Johan's fucking beast. I don't have a screenshot. I mean, I do have a screenshot, but I didn't make it in time for this. I didn't put it on this video in time while I'm recording this audio. But it's basically a screenshot of him dropping over 130 kills, I think, on Gamble and Periscope at the same time and winning the game. And Johan's just a beast. If you ever played with Johan or played against Johan, you know he definitely deserves a spot on any list in terms of best players. Alright, that's number 20, Johan and Dead Fuses. Number 19, it's going to be Laszlo. Now, I've known Laszlo for a long-ass time. Laszlo's a great player, and it'd be kind of insulting to Laz if I didn't put him on this list. He's probably the best PPSH user, him, Jamal, and probably myself, honestly, in terms of, like, PPSH ability, PPSH shot. That's really the only gun he uses. And Laz was the originator of the B meta, the running B meta. Him and Jamal are probably the originators of running B. It's basically where you control the B flag and watch spawns. There's like 34 spawns that come out of B flag. You watch B flag and get a lot of kills, streak real fast. If you're running B and somebody isn't, chances are you're gonna have more score than them. And Laz was the like the progeny of running B. Laz has been in the community since LOE. He was in Fame and Xlock, I'm fairly certain, or Fame at least. And he's been max level longer than I can really remember here. So that just goes to show he grinds a lot as well. Laz has done a lot of things in this community, and for a time he was probably considered the best player in the game, in contention for somebody else, rivaling somebody else at the time as our best player in the game. But Laszlo, definitely, if any of you have ever played with him back in the day, it'd be pretty insulting not to put Laz on this list. Even if he's a little rusty and like a shell of his former self, he's still a beast, and it wouldn't be cool if I didn't put him on this list. Laszlo, fucking beast, man. I like Laz. Number 18, moving on from Laszlo, is Batitude. And this might be a little shocking to some of you, but Batitude is the best shotgun C4 user I can find. And you might consider shotgun C4 not to take that much skill, but I definitely think shotgun C4, of course, it doesn't take much skill to use. That you can say it's about a lot of shit. It doesn't take much skill to, say, use satchel charges, but it takes a lot of skill to be incredibly effective with it. It doesn't take skill to be annoying with shotgun C4. It doesn't at all. You shoot, throw a satchel, explode, and shit happens. But in order to be incredibly effective and game-changing with shotgun C4, just satchels in general, you have to be really good with it. And Batitude is a prime example of that. I think every time I played with Batitude or played against Batitude, he has the most score on his team, regardless. Like, an exception might be Camo. Camo might get more score on Batitude. But, Batitude, shotgun C4, incredibly effective with it, and if I could choose really anybody to be on my team, in terms of like satchel throwing or just having somebody just to chuck shit at somebody, it'd be Batitude or Camo. They're pretty even when it comes to throwing satchels. Batitude just shotgun C4 all the fucking time, man. He doesn't really use much else. Fun fact, I actually do have a screenshot of Batitude using a VMG. It might be crazy to think that Batitude uses something other than a shotgun, but I do have a screenshot I took of when he used a VMG. But I'm putting Batitude here because he's the founder of shotgun C4, I'd say. Very good with it, very annoying with it. He killed me one off my nuke, and I think I messaged him about it. But also, Batitude's a real cool guy. I don't think he really talks shit to anybody. And if you get into his lobby and you're on his friends list, chances are he's going to back out. And that's not because he's scared at all. Batitude participates in scrims every now and then, and he does fantastic. But he's just a respectful guy. He's not going to spawn in and play against you when you're on his friends list. He just doesn't consider that to be too cool. And I respect that about Batitude. So putting Batitude number 18 because of a lot of things. Fantastic player, and I love to have him on my team every time I'm against people that throw satchels. Number 17 is going to be Call Me Jay. I love how I'm almost 8 minutes into this video. I'm only 3 spots down. I might need to put more footage in this vid so you guys don't look at a black screen near the end. But number 17 is going to be Call Me Jay. And Call Me Jay was only ever in this community around about 6 months, I think. But in those 6 months, he did a bit more than I think anybody has ever done in a short span of time. You could argue that Gullible did a lot in a short amount of time, but the thing with, you could say that Gullible and Call Me Jay did a lot in their short times of playing. The thing about Call Me Jay is he was in a very stacked era, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people that were playing back then or playing with an SK can agree that when Call Me Jay was playing and he was like 6v6ing and shit with HRZ or an NSK, Call Me Jay was playing in an incredibly packed era. He was playing against Prime and SK, he was with Prime HRZ, or he was doing a lot of shit, and he didn't just play and participate in scrims. He didn't just do good. He did exceptional. Like, he did phenomenal. Fucking Call Me Jay got into this community. He 6v6'd. He got a lot of score in every 6v6. Fantastic head glitcher. Although he used armored ordnance in his 6v6 instead of hunker instincts, which is why he didn't do that good on the Jeep. He could have done better. I still remember that game. But Call Me Jay's a beast, man. He plays claw like myself, so I give him respect on that. He's probably the only person I ran into that uses requisitions and is good. And I don't mean he's a rec user. I mean, when I first ran into Call Me Jay, he used requisitions. And I told him why using requisitions, and he was like, I don't fucking know, my team sucks. So I told him to put on a different class. And he met me before I was even level 1000, so that was a long time ago. So he got that class, or I think I gave him Ordnance Hunker, and he plays Outskirts better than I think anybody I've ever seen. You could argue him and Elisa Baby play Outskirts the best. But Call Me Jay is a fucking beast, man, and considering he didn't have that much experience in this game, just to know that he just got in this community in like the best era in terms of ability and just started wrecking shit is just ridiculous. So Call Me Jay, really deserves to be on this list. Number 17 is Call Me J and SKJ. I don't know what he plays now, but if he came back to this game, he'd be pretty fucking good at it. Number 16, it's going to be Dope Ethics, and I really wanted to put Dope higher, but he doesn't play this game enough anymore for me to really gauge his ability at the moment. Dope played a lot back in Gen 2, a lot back in Gen 1. Dope has played this game a lot. He was top 10 in leaderboards. You can find a screenshot on his profile. Just type in Ethics, ETHI1. No, it's ETH1CZ. You'll see him top 10 in the world. Leaderboard grinder, but if anybody has dedication to the grind, it is Dope Ethics. He uses really odd classes. I think he used Cavalry Concussed to get a lot of score before. It was weird. Don't ask me why he used that. I don't fucking know. But his mentality was 10k score game or I'm dashboarding. And I remember when we were fucking leaderboard grinding, he was grinding to get top 10 in the world. There was this guy named Ikbin Liam, and Ikbin Liam got more score than him on weekly. And I session joined Ikbin Liam. Dope sent me to session join him to see what he was doing. And he was playing hardcore Dom on Groston House. And I really don't know how he got more fucking score than Dope. I'm still figuring this shit out to this day, but Ikbin Liam, maybe he should be on this fucking list. I don't goddamn know. But that's not the point. Dope has been in this community forever. He is influential. You could really consider Dope to be the godfather of Gen 2, because he started LOE, and LOE and NSK were kind of the only clans on this game at the time. LOE back in the day was stacked. Like, there were so many good players in LOE. Like, you could argue that LOE probably in its prime was one of the best clans in this game. As funny as it might sound, because LOE was disrespected a lot back in the day because of Dope's interesting mentality regarding some things. No hate towards Dope at all. I love Dope Ethics. But you could consider him to be kind of annoying in some regards, which is why he wasn't necessarily liked back in the day. Because his rules were strict, which is understandable. You don't need snakes in your clan. But Dope wasn't like that much, so people kind of disrespect his ability, and I really think Dope is slept on. People don't really give Dope enough credit whatsoever. He's a great running gunner. He's great at competitive COD. He carries in almost every 6v6 because some players in LoE aren't that good. No disrespect to LoE, but back in the day they were much better than they are now. But I think Dope definitely deserves a spot on this list. Not because he's like the greatest player of all time, of course, but just because without him, I don't think Gen 2 would really even be here. Like, I think there would be players, but I don't think a community, like a great community with cool guys, would be structured the way it is without Dope Ethics. So we really, regardless of what we want to think about Dope, we have to give him credit of what he accomplished when he played. You got to give him credit for founding this great community. Like, he didn't find it. X-Lock Fame was definitely before him, before LoE, but it wasn't structured the same. There wasn't a community. There was Fame and X-Lock. There were two clans. There were more than that, of course, but back then it was just 6v6s. There wasn't any structure. So, I mean, you just got to give him credit for that. Number 16, Dope Ethics. Number 15, right above him, is going to be Elisa Baby, or Elisa Baby 5. Now, Elisa Baby was an X-Gun. I don't think she was. Maybe she was in TSEZ when she first started playing. I don't really remember when Elisa Baby popped up. But I was max level when she first started playing, so it wasn't too long ago. Elisa Baby plays Outskirts phenomenally. I think Elisa Baby actually probably is the best strafer in the game. Might be a strange accolade, but she strafes faster than I think anybody ever. You could argue her blick, Bing Bong died. Funny, Bing Bong died. But she strafes ridiculously fast. And she's really good at Outskirts. She spams fighter pilots, but, she's effective at it. And she's good at it. She's not like Sterben, where she just sits on barrels and fucking calls in fighter pilots over and over again. She actually moves around on the barrels and kills people. Now, when the tables are flipped, I don't know what she really does. When the tables are flipped when somebody else is on the barrel, I think Blick told me that she got nuked when he was barrel camping. But it is what it is. Elise Baby is still a fantastic player. Still, like I said, she's up so high because she has so many screenshots. I mean, you can't really consider Elise Baby a bad player at all. She's a great player. She's incredibly effective. She has probably more screenshots than I think anybody on the game, probably. Combined with a couple, you could ask her for a screenshot of anybody. She probably has one. I remember she sent me a screenshot of her beating Jamal, making him go neg, and it's just, like, she has a lot of screenshots of people because of the way she plays. And I'm putting her so high, not because of her screenshots, but because of fucking, like, she's the best Outskirts player. I really do think so. So, you can't really put a list of best players and not put a list baby on a list, because a list baby's fucking phenomenal. Like, I'd love to have her on my team all the goddamn time. So, enough of the list baby. I'm going to put above her, number 14, it's going to be Omni Mystic, Highlord Omni. I like this guy. I played with him a lot. I put him on my last list, and I said I liked him back then too. But since then, I've ran a lot of 2-mans with Omni. He was my duo for a little bit. Omni's a great player, man. And he doesn't even use fucking lethal streaks. He uses recon or artillery flag guns. He's a great support player, great team player, great streaker when he needs to be. His gun game is probably even better than fucking mine. He uses escalation, hunker, no ordnance, no nothing, bro. Omni just fucking runs into crates and kills everything in the crate and moves on. That's what he does. He gets nukes almost every game, 100 plus every game, 15k score. If anybody is good at pubs and just slaying out, it's fucking Omni, bro. And he's not just a fucking pub player either. Like, if you put him against some good players, Omni's gonna do great too. Like, he knows how to adapt to any situation. He knows how to fucking overcome adversity. Like, he knows all this shit. Like, he knows how to fucking play against any playstyle. Even against Satchels, to switch to Anchor Instincts. Like, he knows what he's doing. And he's been playing since X-Gun. He's OG. Fucking, like, Omni is a great player. You can't really make a list and not put Omni on it because he just does everything. Name one thing and I guarantee Omni is good at it. So enough with Omni here. And he reminds me a lot of myself in that way. We're pretty similar players, except I actually run lethal streaks. He helped me get my first 200 running gun game as well, so props to Omni for watching this vid. You're a fucking beast, bro. I've been talking too much, my voice is getting fucking sore. And right above Omni, honestly, this is a little controversial for me to even make this decision, but above Omni is going to be Spray and Boat. Now, putting Spray and Boat above Omni because Spray and Boat's even more OG than fucking Omni was. Spray and Boat's been a more 6v6. I mean, his PSN's Ivo 4X now, but Spray and Boat's been in Fame. He's been in 6v6s. He's been uploaded by Temper. And I'm putting him so high, not because of that, but because of what he uses. His ability is just fine, but what he uses is so strange. He doesn't use Commando at all. Like, he's literally probably the only person on his list that doesn't use Commando at all, besides Batitude. But, he literally uses Armored Saboteur. Like, you can argue Armored Saboteur is a great class against C4 spammers, sure. But he uses that shit against bots, too. Like, he'll go into a lobby against level 20 and pull out Armored Saboteur with a PPSH and Irma. I don't understand it. Armored Saboteur is not good against bots, but he fucking drops 16,000 score with that shit. I don't know how he gets ammo. Like, he's not using Forage or Expedition. I don't know what he does when he runs out of bullets, but you mean, ask him your fucking self. I mean, I've never seen him really do bad. The only time I've ever seen Ivo do bad, literally the only time I've ever seen Ivo go negative is in that 6v6 against NSK. Ivo doesn't back out either. Like, you can literally put a 6-man against Ivo, and he'll either use a Lee Enfield, and he'll fuck you up with a sniper, or he'll pull out Armored Saboteur and hit fire you across the map with an Irma. Like, Ivo doesn't back out against shit. And he's usually positive, honestly. He'll either win the game against you solo, or he'll go goddamn 90 and 40 and lose the game by like 10 points. Ivo's fucking annoying to play against, but I love that guy. I think I met Spring Boat when I was 8th Prestige. Ridiculous. He was like level 700, I was 8th Prestige. And I found him a friend request back in like 2017. It was ridiculous. I've known Ivo, I think, longer than anybody on this list. Him, Shin, or King I've known the longest, I think. They're dope. So Ivo's number 13. Great player, has been in a lot of 6v6s, and I'm putting him simply above. I'm putting him a sliver above Omni because he doesn't use Commando. And that's, you can argue that's his own fault, but it's ridiculous what he fucking uses. And above Omni, I think a good player that's a bit better than Omni is Kelly Tactics. Now, people make fun of Kelly Tactics sometimes because of what Shinigami said in one of his videos. He fucking screamed fucking Cali going 18 and 35. He made a big deal over that. That shit was funny, I'm not even gonna lie. But regardless of that, everybody knows Kelly Tactics is a great player. Yeah, I think he was one of the first people in this game to have over 900 score per minute on all-time leaderboards for as longer than I can remember. And his KD is like a 2.9, I think, maybe even a 3. And for the most part, he used scoped. I think he used ordnance scoped or scoped hunker. I really don't know, but I know he uses scoped in every class. And I remember back in NSK, honestly, he only used a VMG. He didn't head glitch with a VMG either. He ran B and pushed spawns with a VMG. And when he found out the Irma was in the game, when he used the Irma, I think Blickathon told him to use an Irma. And every time, like every day when I used to get on and look in the NSK group chat, Kelly Tactics would have a 200 kill game. I'm serious, I'm not even exaggerating at all. You can look in his profile, Kelly Tactics 187. You will see like 10 200 kill games in a row. That guy's fucking insane. And in a 6v6, he's good. Against comp, he's good. Like, Kaito Tactics is a beast. I haven't seen anybody that's just more fucking... Like, he's just great. Kaito Tactics is a great player, and I do not like playing against him at all. He actually beat me in a 1v1, fun fact. I played him for the first time. He beat me by, I think 3 or 4 1v1. I beat him back, but it's just ridiculous that Kaito Tactics never 1v1'd and then 1v1 me. We talked shit for a while to each other, actually, for a couple of days. And I have, like, fucking hours of messages with Kaito Tactics. I don't even remember fucking messaging him that much, but we have hours of messages. We used to run a lot. So Kaito Tactics is number 12, great player. I can't think of many players that can play against Kaito Tactics in pubs and win, except for like a couple people above him on this list. Because even if you're above somebody on the list, some player, like, this is what people have to understand about Call of Duty. Even if you're better than somebody, sometimes playstyle, I want everybody to know what I'm saying here, because this is pretty important. Even if you're better than somebody, some playstyles contradict some playstyles. The number 1 player on this list could lose to the number 20 player on this list. Like, really, like, you never know. Some playstyles are different. Some people would lose to Loose Baby because she plays Outskirts. Doesn't make them better or worse. Some players you lose sometimes due to your team. Like, you can't, just because you beat somebody in pubs doesn't mean you're better than them. You could definitely lose because you have some level 12 going 2-80 with 0 caps in your team. You can't, like, that's not your fault. And some players lose to other players not because they're better, but because their playstyles contradict. The number 1 player on this list could very well beat the number 2 player on this list, but then the number 2 player on this list would go ahead and lose to the number 20 player on this list, or vice versa. Like, it's all about circumstances, all about what happens, your team, playstyles. So, like, you can't, like, judge somebody based off of, like, a screenshot. You gotta go off their accolades and what all they've done. So above Kaito Tactics here is going to be MK Spaz. And Spaz is a fucking beast. His name was Off Act Trap Closed MK Spaz. He actually messaged me a while back and called me ass. And I think I sent him a message because he had beat me in a pub game. And Spaz pissed me off for a long time because I got into a lobby with him and I could never beat him. I could never beat Spaz in a pub game. Spaz is probably the person on this list that's getting me, like, tied with somebody else, is probably giving me the most trouble in pubs. Spaz just, he's not easy to beat, he's not easy to kill, he's not easy to gun, he's not none of that shit. He was an X-Gun for a while. I think there's a screenshot of him carrying all of X-Gun against NSK. And I put a screenshot of this video of me running in a 6-man with Spaz, and he dropped, I think, 100 kills along with me. We lost the game, fucking annoyingly enough. But running with Spaz is crazy, bro, because you don't ever really lose that often. Spaz is a great player. Like I said, he's hard to gun, he's hard to beat, he's hard to outscore, he's hard to everything. Spaz is a very slept-on player, I think. I don't think when people make lists, they overlook MK Spaz. Like, they overlook how good he was at this game. They don't give him enough credit, none of that shit. So I'm probably going to be the first person, like, probably to really put Spaz on a top 10 list here. So Spaz is number 11, and if you don't believe me, play against him yourself or ask somebody like Blick or fucking Jamal or Shin what they think of Spaz. Like, I guarantee all 3 of them will tell you that Spaz is a great player. So moving on from Spaz, we're 23 minutes in with 10 more to go. Number 10 is going to be Camo. Now, Camo's an interesting case because Camo didn't play back in LOE or X-Gun. He played around, I first saw Camo when I had just hit level 1000. I think the month after I hit level 1000. But he was like level 600 at that time, I think, but Camo leveled up very fast, so he could have very well started playing in July of 2019. I know he played before that, but I don't think he was necessarily involved in the community. I know he told me before that he plays around that time, back in 2018, 2017. But he got into X-Gun around the time that I joined NSK, so I got him out of X-Gun, I got him in NSK, and then HOZR. That's how Camo got involved in the community. Camo is high on this list because I think Camo is probably the most effective player in this game. I've said it before many times in my videos. I don't think Camo is going to lose a one-on-one in pubs. I don't. I think Camo's going to streak on your bots, get a fighter pilot, and then you're going to lose. Like, the way he maneuvers around the map, the way he throws satchels, the way he does it, it's just, you can't beat him easily at all. Like, Shin made this argument in his video himself. Camo's probably going to drop 100 kills on you. He makes you feel like you're bad at the game. And I agree with that. Camo just doesn't lose very often. and it's because Camo's the best C4 thrower in the game. You can't out satchel throw Camo. The only person on this list that I think could give Camo a run for his money in satchel throwing is probably Batitude, and he's number 18 or 19, I think. Camo, not much else I can say about Camo except that he has hella screenshots on goats. If you want a screenshot of a good player, chances are Camo has it. So not to talk too much on Camo here. Number 10, best satchel thrower. Moving on down to number 9, it's going to be Temper Tantrum, and putting Temper low on the list would be insulting to Temper because of all things that he's done. A very successful YouTube channel, almost I think over 5K views on a video about Calvary. Fucking Temper is probably the best head glitcher in this game. I think him and Young Gunna. No, I'm not putting Young Gunna on this list because he didn't do as much as Temper did by a mile or anybody on this list. But in terms of straight ability, Young Gunna is probably one of the best. Easily probably one of the best players in this game. Or not Young Gunna, I'm sorry, but Temper. Both of them, honestly, they're pretty even when it comes to ability. But Temper's a bit more effective on the Jeep than I think anybody I've ever seen. He knows how to move around the Jeep, he knows how to traverse the Jeep. He doesn't camp on the Jeep, he uses the Jeep well. And that might not make any sense, but anybody that's played with Temper knows what I mean. He doesn't fucking sit there behind it. He doesn't just look at main crate. He moves around the Jeep, he sits in the corner, calls in his streaks, and if he gets on that Jeep and gets a ball turret, chances are he's going to get 6 more on you in the span of 5 minutes. Like, if he gets one ball turret, he's not going to stop getting ball turns. And, like, nobody head glitches more effectively than Temper, and the reason he doesn't lose is because he doesn't play solo. I know he plays solo on a different account, I know he does that, but he doesn't play solo, and if he doesn't play solo, then he's not going to lose because he doesn't ever have a team that sucks. Whenever you catch Temper, he's usually in a 6-man with an SK, and he is the best 6-man on his team. Like, an SK is the best 6-man in the game. So Temper Tantrum doesn't ever lose, and he has a lot of videos, he has a lot of screenshots, he has all that shit. Temper Tantrum should be up here because nobody is as influential. No head glitcher. There's more influential players, of course, but no head glitcher has ever done more of a community impact than Temper Tantrum. So putting him on here would be, putting him low would be just not correct. Temper definitely deserves to be here. A player that's better than Temper, though, at number 8 is Jerseyboy. Jerseyboy, this is who I said has more screenshots than Alyssa Baby. Jerseyboy probably has the most screenshots in the game. Ask for a screenshot, Jerseyboy has it. Just like Jersey has been in this community forever. He's been playing with an SK. He played with the X-Gun. He played with LOE. I don't think Dope actually liked Jerseyboy. He played with Atrozier. He fucking, and whenever he scrimmed in Atrozier, Jerseyboy would drop a ball turn like in the first 30 seconds. I don't know what the fuck he did, but he would get on the Jeep with I think a VMG and just, it was annoying. Another thing that Jerseyboy did, he V2'd Kaito Tactics. Fun fact. Some people doubt that, but I know for a fact I have a screenshot. He V2'd Kaito Tactics fair and square, even if it was like a 3v1, I think. But Jerseyboy doesn't ever lose that often. If he gets beat, he still did good. Of course, that's probably, you can say that for most players in the game. If they get beat, chances are the play style is different, their team's ass. But most players in this list still do good in the loss. Jerseyboy deserves to be this high because he's just done a lot of things. Like, he's been in a lot of 6v6s, a lot of clans, a lot of everything. Jerseyboy just has done a lot in this game to signify that he's a GOAT. Like, he's one of the greatest in this game, easily. Like, even if we're not on the best of terms, and I think he's a rather toxic individual, you can't deny that Jerseyboy's a fantastic player. A lot of people will admit that Jerseyboy's a great player. So Jerseyboy's number 8. Moving on down to number 7 is Shinigami, and Shinigami is a really good solo player. He has a lot of clips on people on his YouTube channel. He beats a lot of people, and when I say he meets a lot of people, I mean he beats a lot of people. People sleep on Shin's ability in his gun game, but it's actually fairly good. Whenever you play against Shin, you can't let him streak for too long, because if he streaks for too long, and if he's running ball turn, he's going to get that ball turn. And unless you're like a key select like me, King of COD, a couple people more, you're not going to know where he is. He could be in main crate, he could be on C5, he could be in CG. You never know. Whenever he's in that ball turn, you can't let him live, because that ball turn is going to give him another ball turn. He's similar to Temper Tantrum in that regard, but Shinigami actually running guns. So I think he's better than Temper, just because of that. And I think he has probably the most popular YouTube channel in the community, for better or for worse, you could say. But he definitely gets the most views in the community by a mile. Me, myself, I don't know why I said me, myself, but Camo, Shin, and I probably get the most views on our YouTube channels in the whole community, and Temper Tantrum. But the whole point here is that Shin deserves to be here not because of what he does in games, but because of how long he's been doing it. Shin was in LOE, he was in NSK, he was in X-Gun, and he's been doing this exact same thing for years. But he's actually done it different before. He actually has done it with satchels before. He was similar to Camo when it comes to satchel chargeability back in the day. But he still did the same shit. Like, he still got into a fucking crate with a ball turn and kept spamming that shit. Like, he's always had the same playstyle. But he just tossed it up with satchels, or he ran B, or was on outskirts. But the result is always the same. If you don't kill him, you're going to lose the game. It's just how it is. You can't let him streak for too long. He has a lot of screenshots. He has a lot of clout. For better or for worse, like I said, regarding his YouTube channel. But you can't make a list and just say Shin's a bad player. Even if you don't like him, you can't go ahead and say, oh, he sucks, he's a bot, when he's clearly not. Like, he's not a bot at all. And even if he's had differences in the community, Shin has beaten a lot of players, and you can't say that he's bad when he clearly has videos of beating players that are good at the game. So Shinigami is number 7. I don't think putting him any lower or any higher would be good. He's number 7. I can't disrespect his ability at all. Number 6 is going to be Revo. Now, Revo is probably the best in NSK. Actually, I'm sorry, my throat is really fucking hurting. But like I said, Revo was an NSK. He's in their starting 6, and he doesn't play the game that often. I think he's at 9th prestige. But whenever Revo gets on the game, he changes shit. Like, he doesn't just get on the game and play. He gets in the game and he does shit. When I mean does shit, he has a screenshot. He drops over 100 kills on good players. I don't mean he gets on here and he beats on some bots. I mean, he either gets a screenshot on a very good 6-man that's undefeated before, and then leaves the game for months and comes back and does the same shit. Revo deserves to be as high because of how good he is in the short amount of time he's played. He is a 9th prestige with 5 days played. 5 days played. And he is that good at the game. He brought Sancho's KD up from a 1.90 to a 2.20 and got him like 30 million score. I'm serious. You can ask Sancho himself. Revo was on his account and he got him like 20-30 million score. Like, nobody does that. Nobody, like, comes here with 0 experience. You could argue call me Jay or gullible. But nobody, especially a Fortnite player, because Revo plays fucking Fortnite. Like, no Fortnite player is going to come to War 2 and knock down greats. Like, nobody does that. But, you know, Revo does it. Revo fucking comes out from nowhere, gets a screenshot, leaves for 6 months, comes back and does it again. And I really do think Revo deserves to be as high because he never does bad. There's one screenshot I have of Revo going negative, and that was against a 6-man of NSK. A 6-man. Revo is probably the number 6 player in the game. Like I said, I put him number 6. Definitely a top 10 player, and if he played hella, he'd be even fucking higher, man. I don't even want to think what it's like if Revo was level 1000. I mean, just all that experience that he already has, it'd be bad. So Revo's number 6. Number 5 is going to be Kian Cod. And Kian Cod has definitely sparked a lot of controversy in the community. You could say Kian Cod's probably the most disliked player, him or Shin. But you can't argue with the facts. You can't argue. You can't like deny that Kian Cod is not a great player. And some people might say he sucks. Some people might have a screenshot of him dropping like 100 on him. And sure, he's going to lose a game. Everybody loses a game. And definitely he's gotten worse over time. But this is an all-time list. And I definitely think it'd be wrong if Kian Cod wasn't in the top 5. You can say anything you want about him, but nobody has been playing this game for this long and has smacked so many people on a regular basis than Kian Cod. I think King was the best player for a long time. And I don't even like him. You can ask him himself. He doesn't like me. I don't like him. We are not cool at all. But I cannot doubt that Kian Cod is he's great. Like, he's a good ass player. He's good at everything. He's good at 1v1s. He's better than me at 1v1s. He's great at throwing satchel charges. He's good with ordnance. He's a score whore. Like, he has so many screenshots of so many good players. And if you play against Kian Cod in pubs, you might win, sure. But if you played against Kian Cod a year ago, you're not going to win. You could play against him today and win by a good amount. But if you played him a year ago, you're going to get 100 dropped on you. Back then when he had a reason to do good in this game, he was the best. Like, he's been playing this game for so long, and he has been level 1000, I think, longer than anybody on this fucking list. Like, he came from fucking Fame to LOE to X-Gun and every clan. Every clan he got screenshots of members left and did it again. He's a snake, he's a flip-flopper, you can say anything you want. But this is unbiased. I'm not going to put him lower because I don't like him. I'm not going to put him higher because I fucking like him. Like, I don't. Kaito is just a great player, and he deserves to be a number 5 player all time on this game. Number 4, and this is my duo currently, Desolate Locust. And Desolate's a weird case because he uses, like you can say, I think I said this earlier about Revo, or not Revo, but Ivo, my bad. That's what's similar to that. He hit level 1000, I think, like 4 or 5 months after I did. But the way he did it was weird. He doesn't use the standard shit you could say that's meta. He doesn't use an Irma. I mean, now he does. Everybody, unless you use an Irma nowadays, you're just going to get screenshot. It's the best gun in the game. Why not use it? But he started his own meta, and it's hustle escalation with the Tommy gun. And you might think that's not too good. And whenever I used it first, I didn't think it was too good either. Like, I was getting blown up by nades. I was like, I was fucking dying. But Desolate's probably the best B runner on this list, I'd say. Whenever you see him be with the Tommy gun, you're not gonna kill him unless you fucking satchel him, and even then he'll pull out Armored Hustle. Don't ask me why he uses that. I don't fucking know. But he'll smack your shit with it. Desolate can overcome any situation. He can throw satchels, he can use Ordnance Hunker, he can use Ordnance Escalation, he can use an Irma, he can use a Tommy gun, he can use whatever. And when I say he uses weird shit, and I mean he uses it a lot, I think he has 160,000 kills with the M1928. That's like half of my kills. He has like half of my kills with a weapon that nobody fucking uses. Literally, nobody uses that but him. He doesn't even use Ordnance, he uses Hustle and Escalation. How are you going to be that good with something that's not even meta? And he's like, even back then, I'd say even back then, back when he started using that shit, back in NSK, or not when he started using it, but when he just was in NSK, he was still top 20. I'd give him around like top 15, even back then, before he was really necessarily too involved in the community. But nowadays, he's just even better. Like, I didn't think Desolate was too much of a problem back in the day. He had beaten me in Jordan back in a 2-man. We ran a 2-man. I think we were like 100 points up, and he came back and he fucking dropped like 13k score. I was heated. Like, I can't even put it into words how mad I was at that game. But I lost to him. I blamed it on my teammates. I blamed all that shit. I just couldn't accept that he might have been better than me. And I can say anybody from 4 up is better than me. I'm not better than these players. And if you can beat me, then you're pretty fucking good. I'm not even that fucking crazy, but like, Desolate came in, he beat me again when we played again in pubs. He then proceeded to beat me again. Like, nobody comes in with such an odd way of playing and does that good. Like, and that's just one fucking sliver of his ability. His ability is phenomenal, but that's not even it. He has Chrome Tiger. He's verified. I think he has about 40,000 kills now, and he's top 70 in the world. Like, you can say anything you want about Jerseyboy, Revo, King, but they don't grind the way that Desolate does. You can't put somebody so high just off of their ability. You have to, like, look at the shit that they do. And, like, Call of Duty is Call of Duty. And there's more than Call of Duty than leveling up and getting screenshots. There's camouflages. There's leaderboards. There's, like, all that shit. And you have to look at that as well. You can't just look at ability. And Desolate has done literally everything you can do in this game when it comes to, like, achievements and shit. Like, there's just not many players I can say that are better than Desolate. He was taught by Blick, and Blick's a great player. Like, just give him like 4 months and I guarantee he'll be the best in the game. Like, he's only improving. He can't get worse. Every day he's getting better. And whenever I play him in pubs, I don't even ever play him in pubs. Whenever I play with him in pubs, he gets more score than me. I get outscored regularly by Desolate, and I usually don't get outscored. I'm putting him number 4, Desolate Locust, phenomenal player. Like, I can't even put into words how good he is. And just give him a little bit more time, and he could be number 1. Seriously. So that's Desolate. And I'm moving on to number 3 here. Number 3, surprise, surprise, is Blickathon. And Blick is in a similar boat to Can't Cod. Blick has been smacking shit on the regular for a long ass time. He came in the game around X Gun time, and from that point on, his name was Zerseyboy, and he wasn't that good back then. He used like Armored and shit. He didn't even use Commando. I don't think he knew what that fucking was. And he was getting screenshot after screenshot after screenshot on X-Gun members and SK members, LOE members. Every time you look in a group chat that Zerseyboy was in, you'd see a fucking screenshot of him dropping 100 on somebody. Like, he V2s people regularly. He gets screenshots regularly. And the way he plays isn't, like, he doesn't play conservative. And when he did, he fucking dropped a nuke on Elisa Baby. Like, he doesn't play conservatively. He pushes everything. Like, he even told me in one of the groups, whenever he sees a red dot, he goes to that red dot. Like, he plays so recklessly, and yet does so good. He doesn't care about stats. He doesn't care if he goes positive or negative. He's going to get on a flag. He's going to kill everybody on that flag. He's going to cap that flag. He's going to get streaks, and he's going to win the game. He's not a streaker. He's not anything. Like, I can't even pinpoint what he does because he's so abstract on what he does. He controls spawns. He pushes spawns. He knows where they're going to spawn. Like, he knows everything that's happening on the map, and you'll never know that he does. I don't know if that makes sense, but you'll never know that Blick knows what he's doing. He doesn't look too fancy whenever you look at him around the map, but if you see him, you're gonna die. If you let him kill somebody, he's gonna get streaks. If you play against Blick in pubs, you have to just keep constantly pressuring him. You can't let him do his thing, because if you let him do his thing, you're gonna lose by 150 points. Like, you can't let Blick, unless you're like constantly gunning him and keeping him in spawn, which is not going to happen. You can't really outgun him. You're going to lose. I'm putting him so high because he has screenshots on literally almost everybody, and I mean everybody. What he plays is so reckless, and it works. He doesn't play like a pussy. He doesn't know that shit. He just does his thing. When he does his thing, he wins. Blick has been in this community smacking shit forever, and like, his improvement since his name was Zerseyboy is just even better. Like, he dropped 150 on me in a 6v6. Like, he's just getting better and better and better, bro. Like, I can't put Blick any lower than number 3 because I don't think there are genuinely any players besides 2 more that are better players than him at all. So Blick is number 3. Moving on to number 2, L&D Jamal is number 2. This should be no shock. Jamal, along with Shinigami and All Eyes from Fame. Those guys really kind of taught me how to play the game. Jamal is number 4 in the world with an 1120 score per minute with 1 million kills, which is ridiculous. Nobody has had this, nobody has a reputation like Jamal. Nobody does what he does. Like, whenever you think of crisp movement, crisp aim, crisp everything, screenshots, gameplay, leaderboards, SPM, you just think of Jamal because he doesn't do anything wrong. Like, whenever he's playing, he doesn't do anything wrong visually. Like, you might beat him. I have a video on my channel where I beat him. Temper has a video where he beat him in a 6v6. But on everything I love, those 2 videos are the only, and Blick, my bad. Blick has had a couple of videos of him beating Jamal. But unless you're a top 5 player, you're not going to beat Jamal. And even when you do, he's going to drop 15,000 score. I don't think there's anybody besides the number 1 player on this list that is better than him. Seriously, like, nobody is that, like, effective. Nobody goes and plays 1 game for weekly and gets a 3,000 score per minute, but Jamal, like, nobody does that shit. Nobody comes back after 4 months, is number 1 on weekly, and then leaves. Like, whenever you think of clout and reputation and who is, like, the best, whenever you think of who's the best in the game, you know what immediately pops in your head is Jamal. Like, whenever you think of a great player, you just immediately think of Jamal. You can't think of many other players without considering him top 3 of all time. You're not going to beat him in pubs unless you're fucking, like, ridiculous at the game or he has a shitty team. And even when you have a shitty team, he's going to streak on your bots, and he's going to win. There's not much I can say about Jamal. I've said it in my past videos. I'm saying it now. Like, there's just not many people that can even consider to be on the same level as Jamal. So he's number 2, and there's one player that I think is better than Jamal, and that's Gamble. It might be crazy to put Gamble as the best player in the game, but I do think Gamble's the best player in the game. There is not one person on this list that has given me more trouble in pubs except for Spaz, Shin, Desolate, and Blick. There's 4 people on this list that have given me problems in pubs besides Gamble. I played against Gamble and I was in a 2-man with Carmen, and he still dropped 100 on me. I think I dropped like 110, 120. It's on my channel. I don't know if anybody watches that or not. But Gamble is my best competition when it comes to this game. Nobody plays the way he does. Me and Gamble have a similar play style, but nobody can replicate what he does. I don't think there's a person on this list or in this game that streaks quicker than him. He'll get 2 kills, and I cannot stress this shit enough. Gamble will get 2 kills, and he'll have an artillery. 2 kills, 2 caps, artillery. 1 more kill, paratroopers. He literally is 15-0 within the first 10 seconds. If you don't believe me, look at my video. He was like 20-2 within the first 45 seconds. And that's not even the least of it. I'm putting him this high because of his reputation. Gamble has not spoken, like, I'm serious when I say this. Gamble has not spoken a word to anybody in a party chat for 3 fucking years. He has not uttered a single word and barely messages anybody. And he is considered one of the best players in the game. How do you not talk to anybody and have that much reputation and people praise your ability that much? You just don't. You have to at least talk to people. But no, Gamble doesn't talk to anybody. Gamble has the highest score per minute in the game. Gamble has the highest score per minute on like leaderboards. You can look at top 100 leaderboards. Nobody has a higher score per minute besides Gamble. Like, the only person that has a higher score per minute that's actually decent at the game is Brock Jones. But like, you can argue that like Gamble has a higher score per minute on one of his second accounts, but that's a second account, and he throws C4. Gamble has a 1283 score per minute on a main account with 40 days, but he is top 50 in the world, or I think he's like 64. I think he's like top 70 in the world with a 1283 score per minute and 40 days, but he has 40 days. But I have 44 days, but I'm 300 in the world. He has 40 days, but he's top 60. Like, I'm not going to try to go on too much about Gamble, but he's number 1 in the game. I don't think there's anybody that is good as him. If you've beaten Gamble in pubs, chances are he still has over 10k score. Like, he dropped 100 on me, I dropped 100 back, and I left the next game because I didn't want to do that again. I didn't want to maybe lose to him because I knew I was. Like, there's nobody that can fuck with Gamble. I think he's the best player in the game. That's my 2020 best players list. Do what you want with that. Fucking almost an hour long video. Tough shit. If you like it, sub. If you like it, like, you know, you liked it. It is what it is, bro. I appreciate it for watching, you know.